Good morning and welcome to Smiley in the Morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I'm your host, Smiley Marie, and this is your cozy corner for self-care, self-improvement, and just a little bit of nonsense to start your day. Whether you're driving to work, sipping on some coffee, or just hiding under the covers, this is your gentle reminder that growing doesn't have to be hard, healing can be fun, and you're totally worthy of the life that you dream of. So, welcome to the very first episode. I am so excited, so thrilled, and this is the start of something new, something fantastic, and we are here together. We are on this journey together. We are growing together, and I couldn't be more excited about it, right? So we are going to start off the very first episode with a very strong and bold topic. I feel like we all need to hear it. We've probably been avoiding it for quite some time, but we're here and we need it in our lives. So we are going to talk about setting boundaries. I know. Oh, we don't want to, but we got to. We got to stop people pleasing. We got to stop getting taken advantage of. And we got to stop just putting everything else above us, right? Aren't you tired of just being tired? Well, start setting those boundaries and you won't be tired no more, right? So what are boundaries? Boundaries are limits set to protect our peace, our energy, our time, and our well-being, right? So without boundaries, we allow people to take advantage of us. We allow people to use us and wring us out. And we're in 2025. No more. No more. We are not allowing this behavior anymore. We are putting our foot down. That is what we are doing. And setting boundaries is going to be difficult, especially if it's not something that you've done before. It's going to be difficult and it might feel a little selfish. It really isn't. It's just necessary. Boundaries are there to protect you, not other people, right? So it teaches people how to treat us, right? It shows people that we have self-respect for ourselves when we have boundaries, right? And with lack of boundaries, we tend to get burnt out. We tend to build resentment towards people or things, and we tend to feel disconnected from our own growth. You know, when you kind of feel like you've hit a wall and you just don't know what's going on because you haven't been taking that time to put towards what you actually want to do. You are filling your books up with work. You're filling your books up with hanging out with friends or always going to do something that you're not even stopping to taking the time to do something for you, right? So we need to set those boundaries and we need to start taking care of ourselves, you know? Because if we're not taking care of us, nobody else is coming to rescue us. We are not a princess in a tower. You know, there is no Prince Charming coming to save us. We need to save ourselves. And it starts with setting boundaries, right? So when you're setting boundaries, you're keeping yourself from overcommitment, from burnouts, you know, and setting boundaries, you're going to feel guilty about it and you're going to rattle some cages. Some people they're going to try to push back, right? They're going to try to keep pushing that boundary line. Don't let them. Make your boundary line very clear, be calm about it, and be confident about it. Don't have no wiggle room. It's not flowy. No, it's hard like spaghetti before it's fucking boiled, right? And think of yourself as the sun. I think this is a perfect analogy. Think of yourself as the sun, right? The sun has the planets on a perfect orbit around it, right? And the planets know that if they get anywhere closer to the sun, they're going to burn, right? So when people come to your boundary line would be the part where the people start to feel the flame, right? Because you don't want them to get to the fire yet. You don't want that. You want them to start to burn, and then they think about what they're doing and they kind of back up because they don't want to fuck around and find out, right? Because then you cut them off. So think of yourself as the sun, and everybody around you is the planets in a perfect orbit, and nobody's coming to fuck with you because they know that they'll get burned. And those that do come and fuck with you, let them burn. Let them burn. Honestly. You're going to want to make excuses for these people. Oh, but I've known them since X, Y, and Z. Or, oh, I owe them this. And oh, blah, 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 blah. You know what excuses are? Excuses are monuments of nothingness, and those who specialize in it often specialize in anything. So we are no longer making excuses. We are now taking action. We are now building that boundary line, and we are protecting ourselves. Okay, we are not going to say yes to dinner when you're so exhausted. You're on 3 hours of sleep, right? I know you haven't seen your friends in 3 weeks, but guess what? They're still going to be there. Go to sleep. They'll be fine. Okay, order takeout like you were planning on to. And when you wake up, it's going to be there ready for you. And you smash the food and you Netflix and chill and maybe pass the fuck back out. You know, don't go and say, oh man, I've had 3 hours of sleep, but I can make it for dinner. I haven't seen them in a long time. Why would you do that? Why would you light yourself on fire to make others warm? That's stupid. That sounds idiotic, you know? And honestly, it sounds exhausting, you know, because I would much rather sleep. I would much rather sleep. And maybe this isn't a scenario for everybody, but you know what I'm saying is you're going to say yes to something that you really don't feel like doing. Don't do it. You're not obligated to do anything you do not want to do. Okay, so don't let people make you feel like you have to do something. No, the fuck you don't. No, the fuck you don't. You do not have to do anything you don't want to do. And those of you that make you feel bad for it, honestly, cut them the fuck off. They could be your family, your friend, your significant other. Cut them off. If they're gray and unsupportive, cut them off. You know, set your boundary line. Be stern and be clear about it, and they will respect you. If you don't have a boundary line, they will not respect you. They will keep walking all over you. They will keep taking advantage of you, and they keep squeezing you dry. You're tired of that. I'm tired of that for you. You know, so we're not going to do that no more. We're not going to allow ourselves to be taken advantage of. We are not going to put ourselves in a position that we do not want to be in. No more is no more. And we can say no. We can say no. What is the worst that can happen when you say no? What's the worst? Oh my God, they find somebody else to cover that shift. Oh my God, they still go to dinner without you. Oh my God, you are missing out on literally nothing. Nothing. Say no. You're not missing out. There's nothing happening that you haven't already experienced. Honestly, choose you, bro. Choose you, choose peace, choose to conserve your energy. And you know, conserving your energy too is not answering that phone call, not texting back right away. You know, maybe put your phone on do not disturb and just chill, bro. Get lost in the park or something. You know what I mean? Maybe your boundary line is not picking up that extra project at work, or not picking up that extra shift, or, you know, not bringing your emails home with you and stuff like that, because we do need to stop doing that. People that bring their job home with them, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Leave work at work and save home for time for you to play with your dog, to hang out with your wife, to hang out with your kids. You know what I mean? To hang out with yourself. Go run yourself a bubble bath. Turn into a prune for 45 minutes. See how you'd look like when you're old. You know what I mean? Do something that nurtures your soul rather than something that just makes you feel like, God, I really didn't want to do that. Like regretful. You know what I mean? I really didn't want to do that. I really shouldn't have gone and did that. I didn't need to spend that money. I would have much rather be sleeping right now than to be out right now. You're not missing out on anything. I promise you're not missing out on anything. You know what I mean? Choose you. Choose you. Choose peace, you know? And you might feel guilty about it. It's fine. But don't let feeling guilty about it keep you from standing your ground. Don't let it, you know, because then people are going to see that you're a little wishy-washy with your boundary lines, and that's not good either. You need to be stern. No wishy-washy. Stern. Okay? I'm not yelling at you. I just want you to be better. Okay? I want you to do better. I'm trying to do better, and I would feel a lot better if I knew that you're doing better. And like when you're setting your boundary lines, like start small. You don't have to start anywhere big. It doesn't have to be a big move. Baby steps. It's all you need is baby steps. One day at a time. Just pick one thing that you don't feel like doing to say no to. That's it. That's it. Whether it's a play date with a girlfriend, or whether it's dinner with the family, whether it's movies with your boyfriend, just say no. Say no, chill, and just vibe out. Honestly, do something that you want to do in the time being. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Cannot stress this enough, right? You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to over justify. You do not have to do anything. You are not obligated to explain yourself either. Okay? So people are going to be like, oh, but why? Oh, but why? I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it. And it's simple as that. So I shall talk to you tomorrow and we'll go from there. It's as simple as that. You don't have to be as aggressive, but I get a little aggressive when people keep pushing the bear. So, which is something I have to work on. Maybe that'll be a topic in the future. I don't know. But you could be a little bit more calm and be like, look, I really don't feel like talking today. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Or I really don't feel like dinner tonight, but we could plan something in the future. Or I really can't pick up this shift tonight, but maybe next time, Or you don't even have to say maybe next time. Just, I can't pick up the shift tonight. Leave it at that. You do not have to explain yourself. You do not have to say, oh, well, I'm doing X, Y, Z. No, they don't have to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Who are they? Not in no disrespectful, mean way, but who are they? They are nobody. They are not anybody you need to report to. Okay? They are somebody just like you. Okay? Except in your book, you're the main character. Right? So why would you give somebody else the pencil to write your story? Don't do that. Set that boundary line. Create your own story. You snag that pencil back and you write it the way you fucking want to. Okay? If your boss is like, oh, but you're my Friday night girl and I need you every Friday night to work. No. Actually, this Friday, sir, I am taking off. I requested off. You approved my time and I have plans. I'm not doing, oh, but you're my girl. And guess what? You have plenty of other girls. They can totally cover my shift. It's fine. We've had this in the plans, and I know there's jobs out there that are like that. Stand your ground. Say no. Some of us are so scared to. What are you scared of? What are you scared of? Disappointing others? Disappointing others and disappointing yourself? Which one sounds worse? Disappointing myself sounds way worse. Because now I gotta go home, and I can't believe I did that, or I really didn't want to do that. I was so tired, and now you feel, Stop, bro. Be like, no, I'm not doing that today. And now you're walking on fucking sunshine because you told him no, and now you're going to go home, probably lay naked on your bed, fucking Netflix and chill to some Chinese food and a tub of fucking ice cream. And that sounds great, and that's okay. Anybody that makes you feel less than that, fuck them. Fuck them. Don't let nobody rain on your parade. Don't. Wouldn't it be amazing to wake up every day and to know that you're going to have a great day because you know nobody's going to rain on your parade? And how do you know that nobody's going to rain on your parade? Because you have that boundary line that you will not allow anybody to rain on your parade. Right? You are not giving anybody that higher power to rain on your parade. The only person who can affect your day is you. You are the only one in control of your day. Your emotions all day, every day. And guess what? Eventually, when you start creating these boundary lines and your boundary lines start forming and now you got your foundation built, right? Now you're going to wake up in the morning and you know you're going to have a great day because nobody's going to rain on your fucking parade, and you're just going to thrive the rest of the day. You probably have your cup of coffee and you're high on fucking life. You are thriving. Everybody's going to be like, oh my God, you're glowing. You look so happy. Yeah, because I am. I am happy. And it starts with setting boundaries, right? And yes, happiness is an emotion. It's a feeling, but that's a common feeling. You could feel all the time instead of feeling gray and down and so sad and depressed. Like, honestly, you will wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm gonna have a fucking great day today and nobody's gonna rain on my parade and it's only up from here. It's only up from here. And anybody that comes around and they try to throw last minute plans at you, you say no. No. Oh my God, I need you to come out and watch my daughter for me last minute because my sitter canceled. Guess what? That's not your problem. That is not your problem. Yes, I know you probably feel bad for Sarah because she needs somebody to watch her kid and you were loyal to her all those other times and you watched your kid. But guess what? Guess what? Not today. Sorry, Sarah, I can't today. And that's that. Her problem is not your problem. Other people's problem is not your problem. So don't make it your problem. Set that boundary line with yourself. Nobody else's problem is your problem. Your problem is your problem. You know what your problem is? Setting the boundary line. That's what your problem is. You have no boundaries. And I'm not saying none of us have boundaries. I'm just saying if you don't, start setting them. That should be your problem. I have no boundary lines. What don't I like and what am I not willing to tolerate and what makes me tick? You know what I mean? And create those boundary lines that nobody's going to rain on your parade. Nobody's going to make you tick. Nobody's going to grind your gears. Nobody's going to do that because you won't allow them to. Because everybody's going to stay at bay, and that's okay. That is okay. And some of the people are going to be the people closest to you. And honestly, I think it's the best way to see the snakes in your grass is when you start setting that boundary line, because it kind of just starts weeding them out, you know, themselves. You don't even have to worry about it. And they're like, oh no, panic mode. Oh my God, Smiley is setting boundaries. Oh no, now we can no longer take advantage of her. Oh no. And now watch their whole fucking like world crumble because you made it so fucking easy for them and they didn't do a goddamn thing to make your life easier, right? And they're just gonna crumble and probably find somebody else to leech off of. And you are gonna get all your energy back because nobody's leeching off of you. And you have so much energy, so much time, so much mental clarity to go do whatever the fuck it is you wanna do. And you're not even gonna regret it. You know what you are gonna regret? Letting people walk all over you. You're going to wish you didn't do it sooner. And don't start thinking like that. But it's going to be that feeling that you're like, God, man, I wish I did this sooner. Because it's going to be that good feel. You know what I mean? It's going to be that feel good vibe. I said it wrong. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no more. Bro, take control of your life. You're way better than that. You deserve way better than that. You deserve a lot more than what you think you deserve. Okay, we tend to beat ourselves up so much throughout life. Oh, we're not doing this yet. We're not doing that yet. We need to stop doing that. Okay, we need to focus on ourselves. We need to build that boundary line within ourselves, and we just need to start figuring out who our tribe is, right? Start figuring out what you want to do, you know? Maybe you didn't want to waste your time in this office job working 9 to 5 every single day. And now maybe, you used to pick up 3 hours of overtime to finish a project or something like that. And then you stop picking up that project. And now instead of those 3 hours you spent on a project for work, now you're probably spending it on a podcast, and you're doing something you actually enjoy doing. You know what I'm saying? I remember a time where I had zero boundaries. And this was about 11 years ago, right? And I was in this really terrible relationship, physically, mentally, emotionally abusive, you name it, it was that. And I know I was young, dumb, and in love then, and I'm a way better woman, and blah, blah, blah. I get it. I was dumb and stupid back then, and a hopeless fucking romantic, and I was willing to deal with whatever the fuck. Right? But anyways, long story short, this particular somebody used to get wasted and he would drive my car with or without me in it. And honestly, I didn't have any boundaries to enforce it to stop. And I didn't like it. I didn't condone this behavior. I was just so scared of this guy that I allowed it to happen. You know what I mean? And at the time, I felt like there was nothing I could do about it, And then, of course, he's driving around crazy, putting our lives in danger whenever he gets mad. And it was a very scary situation. And then one day, he crashes my car. My insurance goes through the roof. And because he was not on my insurance ended up not covering my car. I had to pay for it. And it was fucking crazy. It was a big eye-opener for me. And honestly, I said no more. I saved up my money. I got out of that relationship because I knew I couldn't tell him. He wasn't the kind of guy to set a boundary with. So I fucking just left. I left. I moved on. And after that moment, I said, nobody's driving my car anymore. And yes, a few times throughout the years, people have driven my car. And every single time they gave me a reason. They reminded me why nobody drives my car. So now it's 11 years later, about 3-4 years ago is when I fully enforced the no driving my car boundary. Nobody drives my car. I don't give a shit how impaired I am or not. You're not driving my fucking car. I could be drunk. You could be sober. You're not driving my fucking car. You're not. Nobody's ass is going in the driver's seat of my car. It's not happening. Jesus himself cannot even come down and take the fucking wheel. Nobody drives my car. Okay, but me. I am the only designated driver for my car. My ass, other than a mechanic's, is the only ass that would be in that fucking seat. All right? And that is my boundary line. And anybody that doesn't respect it, guess what? They're probably going to get cut off. So yeah. So that is me setting my boundary line, and enforcing it. And like I said, it's not easy. So I did have some wet spaghetti, wiggling through and still allow people to drive my car. And then they reminded me why I shouldn't have let them drive my car. And then I still let more people drive my car. And then once again, I got a reminder. And it was just a wishy-washy thing to the point where I was just like, enough is enough. Enough is enough. The foot is down and we are done. Nobody drives my car. I will bark at you if you try to get into my driver's seat. It's not happening. It's not happening. And that is my boundary line that I've created with myself, and that I've created with others. And guess what? Others respect it. Others know nobody drives Smiley's car. Everybody knows nobody drives Smiley's car. Everybody knows that. That is a rule that I've enforced with a lot of people. And I get very defensive about it because, like I said before, I am working on my aggression. Okay, it's a working progress. It is practice, not perfection, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I'm working on it. All right, so I'm working on the way I say things, but my boundary line, I enforce it pretty fucking good, and nobody crosses any of my boundary lines. They know not to. And they know that I am not afraid to cut them off. I will cut you off so quick, you won't even feel the slice. Okay? You're just going to realize later on that your arm is fucking missing. You know what I mean? And then you're going to be like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I didn't realize she was like so good with that. I'm so good. I'm like fucking Kill Bill with the blade. Don't play with me. And that's how I feel like everybody should be when setting their boundaries and enforcing it, So we're done making excuses for people. And we are going to feel guilty. So I'm not going to say we're done feeling guilty, but we need to feel less guilty about it. You're going to feel like that in the beginning, and then it's going to feel good. And you're going to be like, but then you're going to get carried away and be like, you're cut off, you're cut off, you're cut off. None of these people flow with my life. And I was kind of the same way. Now I have like 3 friends, and honestly, I couldn't be happier with my 3 friends. I have a friend for everything. Everything is cool, calm, and collected, and it works. It works. I feel like with too many people, you get overwhelmed, and it's just too many people to keep in check, So my friends all know not to fuck with me and stuff like that. I know not to fuck with them. They don't cross my boundary lines. I don't cross their boundary lines. We respect each other. Okay? That's probably why I'm single, because I haven't found a man yet to respect my motherfucking boundaries. But it's fine. It's fine. I ain't complaining. I'm living my life. I'm thriving. I'm doing great. And I don't need nobody to tell me otherwise, So we need to remember that boundaries are not mean. They are there to protect us. We also need to learn the power of saying no is a very powerful tool and can go a long way. And we also need to remember that we do not have to over-justify ourselves, and we do not have to explain ourselves as to why we are all of a sudden setting boundaries. It's perfectly okay. Set your boundary and leave it at that. And you're going to keep creating boundaries as you get older. You're going to learn more things about yourself. You're going to learn more of the things that you like and what you don't like. Set the boundary line and leave it at that. And keep expanding it and keep growing and keep learning about yourself and respecting yourself more and more every single day, because you can't love yourself if you don't respect yourself. Right? And we're all here because of self-care, self-love, self-improvement. Right? So it starts with respecting yourself. So let's start choosing something once a week. Pick one thing once a week to say no to. That's it. That is your challenge for this week. Pick one thing this week to say no to. Email me what you said. Email me what you did. Email me what happened. Email me everything. I would love to read the stories. Okay? And we need to remember that boundaries are not mean. They are necessary. Okay? They are there to protect us. And if we're not protecting us, who's going to protect us? Nobody. Right? We also need to remember that we do not need to explain ourselves as to why all of a sudden we're setting boundaries. You're going to continually keep growing and you're going to keep setting boundaries. And that's perfectly okay. You're going to keep learning more things about yourself, what you like, what you don't like, your tics and everything. And your boundary lines are going to keep expanding and getting bigger and growing. And that's perfectly okay. That you could have an abundance amount of boundaries, but people are going to know to respect you. They're going to know how to treat you, and that's the most important part because we need to love ourselves, and the first step to loving ourselves is to respect ourselves, right? And that starts with setting boundaries, okay? All right. So if we found this video to be empowering or exhilarating or an eye-opener in any kind of way, please share this. You never know who needs this. You never know who needs to hear it. You never know what people are going through. Share, like, and I'll be back very soon with a new topic about maybe doing a little less work and a little bit more nurturing. Right? Right. So you guys have a blessed day. Stay beautiful and don't forget to do something for you today because you deserve it. Much love. Bye guys. Take care.